say thank you for coming and welcome. My name is Mike Krumschmidt, for those of you that might not remember from the meeting when I saw you at the Rotary. We have here, though, Tom Maloney from the Land Conservancy, and he's going to introduce the rest of the folks from the agency.
Hi, yep. First and foremost, Roger Essick, our board chair, longtime president at the creation and still active with the Land Conservancy. Brendan is our stewardship manager, and Tanya is our deputy director. So we're here to support Mike's outstanding volunteer efforts to kind of, on behalf of the whole Meadows Preserve, which was acquired around 2003 to 2005, Roger, is that about right?
2002.
2002. Restoration started and has been ongoing, and there's some opportunities to continue the restoration work. Mike's going to talk about the function of the trail, but I led a bird walk here Saturday, and from the time when it was just a burned out field till today, the nesting and birds present has more than quadrupled, and that's all Jesse Grantham's surveys. He lives over at Crotona, so it's a pleasure to be here, and
all right,
back over to you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Okay. Most of you saw, but some of you might not have, right over here to the left of the entrance is a bioswale filter. And that was put in place by the county so that all the trash that normally winds up in the stormwater from the road surface is filtered by a series of drains and screens there. And then it runs in a horseshoe shape right behind you where it's allowed to percolate. And then it exits again and it goes back into the Happy Valley drain that we're going to walk towards. This is something that we'd like everybody that visits the preserve to see, but those that enter from the east side hardly ever see it, because to get here then, most of the time they have to get in a car and drive around. With the bridge in place, it's a simple walk, as you'll see. Okay. All right, we're going to head this way, and we're going to stop about where the big eucalyptus starts, the second batch, because that's where the first addition is going to happen. Okay. Also, this walk is proposed to be the decomposed granite surface. When there's significant rain, and by significant I would mean an inch or more, this becomes impassable. It just becomes a muddy mess, and really nobody can get in here without getting filthy and perhaps even slipping and falling. This is a spot where we propose to bring water in for a drinking fountain. There's a water source right on the front side of this building, and we would propose to trench through here and then locate it anywhere from here to where the sign is for the use of those that come onto the property. We propose this because the state of California says that they will give preferential treatment to any grant that delivers water where there is no water, drinkable water, pulpable water. So we threw that in the hopes that that meets that expectation and requirement. So if you walk down this trail unknowing and you want to explore the rest of the Ojai Meadows Preserve, here you stop, unless you're a spry teenager, If you're a geezer like me, this is dangerous. I personally know of two people that live on the west side here that have tried to negotiate this. When it was dry, they unfortunately fell. One broke a hip, the other broke an arm. And those are just the people I know about. I'm sure there must be more that have had mishaps here. The community really, really wants to be able to go this way, as evidenced by this. This is not official. Somebody took it upon themselves to do this. And as you can see, the more robust, younger types, they ride right through, right? And yes. Like I said, they're young and robust. Yeah. So the proposal is, of course, to put the bridge right here. It's the most logical spot. This is where people come. This is where they want to cross. And it's also a reasonable span at this point. We've had the soil tested, which is required in the permitting process so that the right abutments can be built that hold the bridge. We haven't gotten the results of the test yet, but we don't expect anything exotic. We just have to confirm that this is the place where you can put bridge abutments. We do have agreement from the flood control district that controls this, that we can do that. They just want to see the study so that we do what the study dictates. With the bridge in place, we want to continue the DG on the other side and take it to the bridge that's in place already that I think most of you have crossed at one time or another. Then the entire circle around the pond and the path out here will be unified, and the west and the east can have equal access to this. Also, it will encourage general pedestrians to go into town, especially the Y, along this route. Right now they have to take El Roblar. And El Roblar, if you've ever driven it when it's afternoon or even in the morning, it's a real challenge. In fact, I believe the county has rated that road as F. So it's overburdened with traffic. If we can pull some of it off by encouraging pedestrians to use this, so much the better for the community. Added on top of that, of course, are the students that utilize this. There are mentor students at Nordhoff that come into the meadow that meet 4th and 5th graders. They do science education out here, and I was just told today that the 4th and 5th graders then in turn teach the 1st and 2nd graders at the school all about this facility. That's greatly enhanced, of course, if they can do it all year. And if they're learning about flood control and groundwater capture and all of those things that happen in the rainy season, it would be nice if they could see it, right? Well, right now they can't because they can't come out here when that's happening. But when it does happen, they come out, it'll be a very instructive experience for them. So we're hoping for that as well, of course.
There's an interview opportunity here.
Oh, yeah. Yes, in fact, I think I'll take that. This is going to seem very alarming, but I wonder if I can give you an on-the-spot question. Thank you. We're all here to think about building a bridge here. Do you think a bridge here would be helpful for you?
Yeah, I do think it would be, especially for a lot of other people too.
Great.
Like my teacher sometimes comes for walks with her baby in a stroller, and it's hard to pass here.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Do you traverse here daily?
About once a week.
Once a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you attend Nordhoff?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. All right. Do any of you have any questions as to what you see or what I've said?
How wide?
How wide is this, Brendan?
How wide would be the bridge?
Oh, how wide the bridge?
About 6 feet wide, large enough for 2 people on bikes to pass each other safely.
Say again.
About 6 feet wide, so people can pass. Wheelchairs can pass each other safely.
The bridge will be ramped so that it, of course, has wheelchair access. And in fact, because it's going to be ramped, the easement that's here is going to be changed a little bit. And again, the flood control district has agreed to change the easement to accommodate the ramping. We're going to have to give up some land here to make all of that happen. Any other questions?
What are the building materials? Is it like a Trex kind of thing?
Oh.
Or what?
Building materials.
It'll be a prefabricated bridge, exactly like the one that already exists. So steel and metal, maybe wood decking, things like that.
Dropped in via helicopter?
More likely a crane. Helicopters are expensive.
It's actually a good comment because that's one of the issues that causes the cost of the bridge to increase. If you don't have good access, getting the materials there is tough. Luckily, we have good access. We have a flood control gate over there, and there's another one over there, and as you can see, a drivable surface here, so the materials can be brought in without too much problem.
Mike, the crushed granite access, is that running parallel to this trail here up to the bridge and out?
It would be on this.
It would be on the existing trail.
On the existing, so that would convert to crushed granite?
Yes.
Okay.
So, as you know, when I made the presentation at your meeting, we applied to the state for a grant, and we believe that the things that the state looks for we have all more than addressed. So we're feeling very encouraged about getting funded through that grant. But it being the state, we haven't heard from them yet. They're slow in their process.
Looking for a bridge.
Oh.
Like the crushed granite.
Wouldn't a bridge be easier?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I usually have two of them. I was just saying we're gonna put a bridge that it'd be wide enough for people with. Some people have carriages, baby strollers, and
Yeah. Would 6 feet
wide.
do it?
It would be better than none, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Mike, the crushed granite, how far would that continue on over there?
It would continue along this trail to the other bridge where the crushed granite terminates right now.
And then if you've walked from the Nordoff entrance to the pond, 3 years ago, I think we did that in DG, and so it's a really natural looking one, but that had the same issues as this. It was very muddy, and so now you can access that most of the year, but it is still really natural, especially with the ground squirrels.
So the big thing is the bridge. That has to happen immediately, as soon as it's possible, as soon as the permitting is all squared away, as soon as the funds are all in place. The other things that we're talking about, the trails and so forth, those are necessary also, but they come afterwards. Both in terms of how the money lines up and also in terms of logic. You don't want to put the trail in and then try to make the bridge fit. It's easier to make the trail fit to the bridge. Worst case scenario, the state of California says, good project, but we have better ones. That happens. We're not thinking it's going to happen, but we have to be prepared for that. Should that happen, we want to put all of our eggs into the basket that is the cost of the bridge. And then things like DG, delivering water and so forth will be phase 2. But phase 1, the entire effort will go towards making the bridge itself. Anything that Rotary puts into this process, Rotary will be identified for with signage. So Rotary West contributed this. Rotary West contributed that, okay? As will others, of course, too. But I want you to rest assured that we will acknowledge your most generous contribution. I'm sorry.
State of California, what agency is it that you've requested the grant money?
Oh gosh, Brendan, what's the name of the agency that gives the fund? I know the name of the grant, but not the agency.
Department of Conservation. Yeah.
Of the bridge.
It's interesting you say that because that's right now a little bit in flux.
Mm-hmm.
The last number that was used was based on numbers that we used for another bridge that's being built that was burnt in the fire.
Okay.
And that bridge came in stupid expensive. How did that one come in? It was over 300,000, wasn't it? Yeah. Well over 300,000. And so we extrapolated from that what we had to do here that was similar.
Yeah.
And we came at about 220,000 with everything said and done. The walkway, the water, the bridge, everything that you needed, right? But we heard recently, because the original bid didn't work, that a new one came in substantially less. Yeah. So there's a good chance that it's going to wind up less than what we thought.
Okay.
If you believe in that, I know some land I'd like to sell you too. Yeah, exactly, yes.
Okay.
But figure roughly between $150,000 and $200,000 for the whole project.
Okay. Wow.
Okay? Yeah. Mr. Campbell, you use this trail a lot, I know, and used it just today.
Yeah.
What can you add to the situation here that hasn't already been said?
Well, Reggie and I were decrying the fact that we wouldn't be able to ride through the creek anymore, but I believe there's enough room for we could still ride through the creek. Right? Yeah. But I'd love to have the bridge because I have a son that could not get here on his wheelchair. And this would give him a totally alternative route from being on the street. And he could come all the way through here and just be much better for him because he's down on those, El Roblar. It's dangerous with a wheelchair, especially if you have to get out in the street. And you have to literally ride in the street all the time because there's no good access to sidewalks and stuff. So it'd be great.
Good, thanks. I was here a little while ago, and there was a group of young mothers that came with strollers. And when they got here, they had a whole system worked out, but it took 3 mothers per stroller to get everything through. And then they'd come back, get the next one, and so it was quite a production for them. And I asked them about a bridge, and they jumped up and down about that prospect and wanted to know where to sign to get it, make it happen, and so forth.
We have one side.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike.
All right.
Thank you all very much for.
Thanks,
for coming
everybody.
out.
Thanks for coming. Okay.
Yeah, it goes.